Great. Recording has started. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the presentation. So we're going to share screen. And can we, if I toggle, no, that didn't work. Okay, so stop. Oh, wait, maybe it did work. They're just too fast. Okay, good. I need to be able to use both of these tabs. So, okay. Breath work and mindfulness is the topic for tonight. Okay. These are really relevant for dog sports in general, but also a lot of stuff you can use in everyday life. It's not just for dog sports, but that's mainly the context we're going to be talking about tonight. So, breath work and mindfulness. So the whole idea behind breath work and mindfulness is the idea of creating stillness, to be more mindful of our energy and our negative and positive emotions, just emotions in general. It brings mental clarity, and with that is decisive action that can improve performance. So a purposeful practice of breath work and mindfulness can really help athletes, which those of us in dog sports, you can consider yourself an athlete, with enhanced performance outcomes. So we use breath work and mindfulness to do our part as handlers and athletes to improve our performance by being more clear, by being calmer, not being so anxious, releasing negative emotions and any stress or anxiety, and trying to perform with a very clear head. And then again, you can take this to any area of life where you're also bringing this to your work or anything else outside of dog sports. So there's different ways we practice mindfulness and breath work. So traditionally people think about mindfulness, they think about sitting and meditating for a long time, sitting in silence. Some people think of like yoga, and yoga is a great way to practice mindfulness if you do like a very relaxed and practice the mindful piece of yoga, not just going through the motions. And then breath work. There's different kinds of breath work techniques, but we're going to focus specifically on one, and that's box breathing, because it's really easy to do, and you can get a lot of benefit in just a couple minutes. You don't need this whole long sit down, light some candles, incense, and do this whole meditation thing. You can get a lot out of box breathing, and you can literally just do it sitting in your car in traffic. So box breathing is a diaphragmatic breathing, and it's a simple relaxation technique to bring our like our normal rhythm back to our body, especially for experiencing stress or anxiety or excitement or anything where you feel your heart rate elevating. This is where you can kind of bring yourself back to a normal rhythm. It's a breathing in and out and just holding. That's all it is. It's very, very simple. And it will clear the mind, relax the body, and improve your focus. Again, this is something you can do. You don't have to close your eyes, and you can do this while driving your car and stuck in traffic. You can do a box breathing to get yourself out of this stressful, anxious state. If you're running late and feeling really stressed out, this is a really simple thing that you can do to kind of resolve those feelings. Oops, too fast. The benefits of box breathing: so it reduces physical stress in the body. It can affect your emotions and well-being, increasing mental clarity, energy, and focus. And with a real solid practice of doing box breathing, you can reduce your reactions to stress in the future. So if this is something that you develop a daily practice for, just in general, you will become a more centered, mindful, less stressed, more patient person, with a really solid practice of this. So the basics of box breathing. Box breathing is just 4 steps. You breathe in, you hold the air that you just brought into your lungs. Then you breathe out the air that you brought into your lungs, and then you hold with no air in your lungs. And so that's the box. We refer to the size of the box, though, is how many counts we do each of these steps for. And in traditional box breathing, because we call it a box, it's actually a square. We want to have all of these steps to be the same number. You can do different versions of box breathing where it's more of, I guess, a polygon, where you might do a longer step one, than you do a step 2 or 4. So it's not quite symmetrical, but we're only going to be talking about like a nice symmetrical square box in tonight's presentation. So before we actually do box breathing, and before you do any diaphragmatic breathing exercises, one thing to keep in mind is that everyone has a different CO2 tolerance. And the CO2 is when you're holding air in your lungs, you're exposing your body to CO2, and some people can't tolerate a lot of CO2 in their system, and it has nothing to do with your physical fitness. There can be some really, really fit people who have a really low CO2 tolerance, and there can be some people who are not fit at all who actually have a really strong CO2 tolerance. So really, it's not this is not a test for how fit you are. This is truly just an understanding of like what your body, your lungs can handle in terms of CO2. So the size of the box when we're doing box breathing is based on each individual person's CO2 tolerance. So understanding what your CO2 tolerance is really critical to understanding what size box you should be breathing to. And some people will just say a generic recommendation of you should do a 5-count box or a 7-count box. But if you want to do it correctly and you want to do it in a way that doesn't stress your body, you'll want to do the CO2 test first. Because sometimes if just being told to do a 7-count, but you can really only tolerate a 4-count, and you'll create more stress in your system by trying to do a 7-count. So we want to make sure that we are understanding what counts we can do. So we're going to do the CO2 tolerance test together. So what the tolerance test is, we're going to take a really, really deep, like the deepest breath that you can take. Then we're going to exhale it as slow as possible, but still constantly exhaling it. So we're not holding our breath. Once we start the timer, we're going to exhale together as slowly as possible. And then once you've exhausted all that air out of your system, we're going to look, there's going to be a counter on the screen, and you're going to note down what your count was. So that's why I had the other screen up. So exit this. So I have to stopwatch. So what we're going to do together, and I'll start this all. When I tell you, you're going to take your really, 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 really deep breath. You're going to hold it for just a second so I can hit the start button. And when I click start and say start, you're going to release that breath as slowly as you can, but as continuously as you can. So don't stop and hold it. Okay, so we're going to do this together because I want everyone to start understanding what their CO2 is. And if you're not perfect, that's fine. It's just to, and you can do it. You can repeat this test on your own if you don't feel like you got a super accurate result today. You just need a timer like this that you can start and stop once you feel like you've released all your breath. So you can get yourself ready, do some deep breaths. So breathe in and breathe out, kind of prime your system. Take some really deep breaths right now. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Whew. Just gonna kind of get ready to do the CO2 test. Just then take some deep breaths. We'll do a couple more deep breaths. Okay, so now take your deepest breath that you possibly can take. Right now, ready? Deep breath in, suck it all in, take the deepest breath, suck in as much air as you can, hold, and start exhaling as slowly as you can. Okay, if you made it to 90 seconds, you're a rock star. So we're gonna go back to the presentation. So hopefully you noted what how much time was on the clock when you kind of ran out of air. And again, if not, you can do this on your own. But here's kind of the scale. So if you were somewhere between less than 20 seconds, your typical box will be about 3 seconds on all sides. If you were in the 20 to 40 seconds, you're a nice average person, 4-second box. If you were in the 40 to 60 seconds, these are just some ranges, 5 to 6 seconds box. 60 to 80 seconds, you're going to do a 7 to 8. And if you were greater than 80 seconds, you can do a 9 to 10. And that's pretty amazing. So that's why I stopped it at 90 seconds, because not a lot of people are over 80. So again, you can retest yourself and you can improve this, and box breathing will help you improve this if you try to push yourself. So if you're in the 3-second group, you can try to do 4 seconds and see how it goes. Again, box breathing is supposed to be relaxing. So if it feels like you are really gasping for air, and this is feeling like it's adding more stress and increasing your heart rate, then you're holding your box too long. And so this is just general guidelines. You can try any amount. We're gonna do a group 5-second one, or I think 4-second. I remember which one the video is set to. And you can see how it feels, and you can start from there, and then you can try to just increase the size of your box. And also it's situational. Sometimes if you are really, really, really stressed and your heart is just pounding, you might be able to only do a 3-second box anyways. Or like when I'm using this between, if I have my 6-minute mark between running 2 dogs at a UKI show, so I've come off running a dog, so I'm breathing really heavy to begin with. I can't really do much more than hold 3 seconds for the first couple boxes, and then I can hold 4 seconds, and then I can hold 5, and that's just how I kind of bring my breathing back to normal, is by just making my box bigger and bigger. So there's just different ways you can use box breathing, but this is just kind of a general guideline I wanted to share with everybody as a place to start. If you were feeling like it was too much of a struggle, keep in mind you can always just make the box a little smaller. So we're going to try box breathing. So I'm going to explain it again before we actually do it, but then we are going to do it as a group for a few minutes. You can get a lot of benefit in box breathing, doing it for 2 to 3 minutes or 2 to 5 minutes a day. And again, you can use it you can just do 2 or 3 cycles, 2 or 3 boxes to really calm you down in stressful situations. Maybe you're in a meeting at work and you can feel your heart rate rising and you want to kind of settle yourself down. You could do a quick 2-3 boxes and kind of bring your heart rate right back down in the moment without it actually looking like you're doing anything. So for tonight, to try a box breathing, either sit comfortably in the chair if you're sitting at your computer with your feet flat on the floor, or you can sit on the floor, the back straight, your legs crossed, traditional yoga meditation style. And again, whatever's comfortable for you, you can do this lying down. These are just the suggested methods. And again, when I'm at agility, sometimes I'll do this in my car. Sometimes if like I'm in a crating area, I can sit in my chair. Other times I might just be standing, like letting my dog kind of sniff and do its thing, and I'll just be standing and do it. So there is no wrong way to do it. This is just, again, just the generic recommendations, especially for getting started and doing maybe like a daily practice in the morning or in the evening. So step 1, you're going to sit, get relaxed, get comfortable, and then you're going to close your eyes and you're going to picture a box like what's on the screen. You're going to see a nice square, and in our case, it's a very even square, the same sides all around. So it is a perfect square. Step 2, when we're going to do this together, your second step now is going to breathe. You're going to do an inhale. So you're going to picture, as you're filling your chest with air, you're going to picture this line going up the side of the box. You're filling to the top of the box, your lungs full of air. As you hold, imagine this line going across the top of the box. Then we're going to exhale, and you're going to visualize this line going down the side of the box. And then you're going to hold again, empty lungs, hold, and that's your line across the box and completing the box. And then you're just going to go right into the next box after that. So it's you breathe in for equal count. So if it's a 3 count, you're going to go breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, release 2, 3, hold 2, 3, and then just keep doing this over and over and over again. You can breathe in your mouth, in your nose. That is a personal preference. Some people like to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, that is up to you. Whatever feels most relaxing to you is what you're going to want to do for this. And it may change over time. And again, it may change situationally. If you're doing this in between runs to try to get your breathing back to normal, you might mouth breathe more than you would if you're doing this in the morning to kind of start your day in a relaxing way, where you could maybe more easily nose breathe if that's your preference. There is a book called Breath. It's really interesting about breathing and breathing techniques and whether you should use your mouth or your nose. It's an interesting resource if you want to study it and learn it more. I recommend checking that book out. So again, personal preferences on what you want to do. So now I have a video. This is going to be nice, calming music. We're going to try this together. You don't have to close your eyes for this, but I do, when you're doing this at home or when you're trying to do this in a relaxing way, I do recommend closing your eyes and visualizing that box, because visualizing that box will help clear your head of all these other racing thoughts or the monkey mind, as people in the meditation space say. So what's great about box breathing is it gives you something really, really concrete to focus on, and doesn't naturally your mind is going to wander less because you're really focused on this box and these counts. And so it's a great way to really just get your mind out of whatever spin that it's in. And that's why it's a very common meditation technique and a very good one to get started if you're new to meditation. So this is going to give you a quick little intro, and then this is a 5 count box. So again, if 5 counts is too stressful for you, you can do a shorter count, then you would just not follow along with the video, and that's fine. You can just listen to the music. I'm gonna play this. Oh, I did not share my audio, so I have to stop sharing. Sorry, and then reshare with audio. I knew I forgot something. Okay. Oh, there we go. Can you hear this? Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I'll start it back over. So again, it's going to give you a quick intro, just like I did. I just shared with you. And then it's going to go and it's going to do a countdown, and then we'll all get started. I'm not going to do all 5 minutes of this. We're just going to do probably a couple minutes of it, so that we can all practice this, and then you guys can ask any questions about it as well. So here we go. Let's start. Start countdown. Awesome. So hopefully that felt comfortable, especially towards the end. Maybe at the beginning it was hard to find the timing it took to actually spread out the inhale over 5 seconds. Sometimes we inhale a little too fast and we get to the top of the five. We're like, oh crap, can't inhale anymore. And same thing with the exhale. You learn like that rhythm, like how quick to exhale. And sometimes it takes a couple boxes times around to actually find that rhythm. And again, the more your heart rate is already elevated when you start this, again, your box might be very, like you might be scrambling to do this box, but it gets easier and easier. Every box you do, your body just relaxes into it and it just gets easier. This is something like the Navy SEALs have proven and done this for years. They do it when they're out like treading water in the ocean and having a hard time breathing. It's so cold, and like they do this to like settle their nervous system. There's so much research on how effective box breathing is to really calm the body and calm the nervous system. So it's just a practice. So that's why they say if you can do this every day for this 5 minutes, like this is just a quick 5 minute video. So if you can pull something up like this 5 minutes every morning to start your day or at night to end your day, one, it gets easier. And then two, you're just going to naturally lower like your threshold for stress. Like it's just going to slowly get lower and lower. You'll be able to tolerate more stress, more anxiety, and it's just going to be easier on your life. So if you're looking to get into a daily meditation, this is a great way to start without getting into having too many guided meditations and this overwhelming thing about how to get started into meditation. So I really recommend something like this. And I just did that was just a quick like YouTube 5 minute guided box meditation. And I can put a link to that one in particular in the chat. Once I get out of the chat here or out of the presentation here, I'll put that in the chat if you want that particular video. It was a good one. So the practical use, so again, doing this daily, morning or evening or both, will reduce your overall stress and build your skill at doing this. Using it throughout the day to just decrease your heart rate. Say you're going in for like the dentist, and you're sitting in like the dental chair, and you're just like stressed about being at the dentist. Like you can do this to just reduce your stress, reduce your heart rate, and just bring yourself into a more calm state. Specifically in agility, you can do this before you run to help calm down. You can do this while you're standing in the chute, while you're waiting to go in the ring. If you're in between runs and you're running multiple dogs, great way to bring your heart rate down is to just quickly do a couple boxes. It can be very informal, and your counts can just be something that you count without it being a precise, second. So that's all I had. So that is the presentation. So this is the kind of stuff that we cover in my group, Motivated by Dogs. This is the kind of stuff I offer private coaching on, and I know some of you have done some accountability coaching with me. So that's kind of all included with that. So with that, I'm just going to open up for questions. And again, I'm going to grab this link for you guys. If you want this YouTube video, I will grab that for you. Maybe there it is. Okay, link. So I'll put that in the chat. So if you want to bookmark that on YouTube, you can do that. Other thing I wanted to make sure to do is if you wanted to get the copy of this webinar after I've recorded and put it on YouTube, make sure I have your email address, and the form for that is in the chat as well. Fill that out. I will send you an email when this recording for this video has been uploaded to YouTube, and you can watch it again if you'd like. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer questions now as well. So I hope you kind of got a little taste of what box breathing feels like and got to relax a little bit in that 3-ish minutes that we did. But hopefully you can kind of at least start to feel a little bit of the benefits just in that quick like little 3-minute session. Yeah. So any other questions? Anything I can help with? I will end it there. Appreciate you guys joining. Stop recording.